If you want to maximize muscle growth and lose fat at the same time, you need to understand how to approach the body recomposition process effectively. Most people think you have to pick between bulking and cutting, but the truth is, with the right approach and at the right time, you can achieve both quite rapidly. In this video, I'll break down what that body recomposition process looks like, when it's the best time to do it and why, and the exact training, nutrition, recovery strategies you need to make it happen ASAP. By the end, you'll have a full roadmap to build muscle, shed fat, and take your physique to a new level fast. Let's get into it. Most people struggle with building muscle and losing fat at the same time because it requires a very intentional approach. Your body has to be forced to use stored energy from fat to support the muscle growth process, and that doesn't happen by accident. Instead of simply eating healthy and lifting, you need to create the right environment of training intensity, nutrition, and recovery to accomplish both of these goals at once. But who's going to benefit the most from setting recomposition as their goal? While recomposition is possible for anyone with a focused approach, certain groups benefit more noticeably when aiming for this. Beginners and early intermediates, since they have a lot of muscle left to build. Novice trainees adapt quickly to training and respond strongly to a well-structured diet, often seeing faster gains as they are more energy demanding. Second is people returning to training, so those coming back after time off from lifting, either due to injury, illness, or just being a lazy fuck, experience rapid muscle growth and fat loss due to the renewed training stimulus. And lastly, those who haven't yet optimized their approach. If you've been training for a while but you haven't nailed down your nutrition, tracked progress properly, or prioritized recovery, tightening up these areas can yield impressive recomp results. Advanced trainees can also achieve recomposition, yes, although progress is usually much slower, of course. For them, recomp can be a great maintenance strategy, but longer-term conservative bulk and cut cycles tend to deliver maximum results over time. So to recap, recomposition works best for those who are either newer to training, returning after a break, or who haven't yet optimized every part of their regimen. And no matter your experience level, achieving the best recomposition results relies on dialing in every component of your regimen. So now, let's dive into exactly how to optimize each of those parts, the training, the nutrition, recovery, tracking, and adjusting to make sure your body is primed for the fastest recomp possible. So training is the backbone of your recompositioning journey, and progressive overload is the key to making it work. But how do you approach training when aiming for both muscle growth and fat loss? For maximum results, there are a few essential elements to focus on. High intensity on every set. Every set should be taken close to failure with good form and control. Rest times between sets should be between 1.5 and 3 minutes mostly to fully recover and keep that intensity high for every set. This approach ensures that your muscles are getting the growth stimulus that they need, even if you're in a slight calorie deficit or at maintenance. Next is compound movements first. Build your workouts around multi-joint exercises like squats, deadlifts, presses, any variations of these things, right? And big pulling movements. Compound exercises recruit the most muscle fibers, stimulate greater growth, and give you the best return on your time and effort in the gym. Isolation work has its place, but compounds should make up the foundation of your training for maximum effectiveness. Next is smart training splits. The right split depends on your experience level, schedule, and recovery capacity. However, full body workouts and upper-lower splits are often ideal for recompositioning given the population that benefits the most from them. They allow for higher training frequency and sufficient recovery between sessions, which is crucial when you're aiming to build muscle and lose fat simultaneously. Next is progressive overload. So with optimized nutrition and recovery, which we'll be covering in upcoming sections, you can expect to make steady gains in strength and muscle size every single week, if not every month. Progressive overload should come relatively quickly if you're tracking your sessions closely, pushing for an extra rep, or increasing weight regularly. Tracking each workout is essential to ensure that you're continuously progressing and reinforcing the growth signals to your muscles. Now, when these training basics are in place, your body is primed for recomposition. Train hard, keep intensity high, prioritize compound movements, and track every session to stay on target for steady muscle and strength gains. Now let's talk about nutrition, where most people either make or break their recomposition progress. First is calorie balance. So for recomposition, a slight calorie deficit of 5 to 10% below maintenance is a solid starting point. This small deficit helps you tap into fat stores for energy without interfering with the muscle growth process. If you're advanced or you don't have much excess body fat to begin with, staying closer to a maintenance or even slightly above can work well. Research shows that for untrained lifters, the training stimulus is powerful enough to lose fat and build muscle even in a slight surplus. However, be honest with yourself about your starting point. If you're already lean, let's say around 12% body fat for men or 22% for women, maintenance or a small 5 to 10% surplus can still promote muscle growth without much risk of any extra fat gain. But if you're carrying excess fat that you'd like to take off, or you have a skinny fat physique, then a 5 to 10% deficit will usually work best to keep body fat moving down while supporting growth. Next is protein intake. Protein is non-negotiable. Set your protein target at 1 gram per pound of your ideal body weight. That's your estimated goal weight at a lean physique. This ensures you're meeting your needs for maximum muscle protein synthesis while also supporting better satiety and a higher thermic effect, both of which aid in faster body composition changes. Next is carbs and fats, so keep carbs and fats balanced and appropriate. Carbohydrates fuel your training and support recovery, which is crucial when training hard for the growth that we've covered. Fats are essential for hormone health, however, so avoid taking them too low. Set fats simply at 25% of your total starting calories and fill in the remaining calories, after protein is accounted for as well, with carbs. Feel free to adjust based on your energy levels and performance as you go. Next is nutrient timing. When you eat is also important for recomposition. Prioritize pre- and post-workout meals to give your body the energy it needs for high-intensity training and the nutrients it needs for muscle repair. A balanced pre-workout meal of adequate protein and carbs will fuel your training appropriately, while a post-workout meal will replenish glycogen and support muscle recovery as quickly as possible. Setting up your nutrition with these foundations in place will help you build muscle while losing fat efficiently, so your efforts in the gym pay off to the fullest. And don't forget the crucial element of nutrition to make the most of your recomp, and that is track it consistently and be intentional with every meal. Precision is the key to ensuring steady and noticeable progress as far as your nutrition is concerned. Now, recovery is just as important as training and nutrition is, but it's far more straightforward. If you're not prioritizing recovery already, you're going to hit a wall. First is sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night, but if you can manage it, shoot for a minimum of 8. Sleep is crucial for every aspect of your fitness, physique, and health regimen. So much so that if you were to undersleep despite doing everything else right, you'd actually recomp backwards, probably losing some mass and gaining fat. That's just how key it is, so don't mess this part up. Hydration is next. Staying hydrated supports cellular processes, muscle function, and fat metabolism. Set your target at 3 liters of water per day, not including what you drink during your training, and then go from there. Next is stress management. Chronic stress leads to elevated cortisol levels, which can hinder muscle growth and impact sleep. Find ways to manage stress, whether it's through meditation, walks, or even just taking 15 minutes to unwind each day. Next is daily steps. Aim for 10,000 steps a day. This daily movement can boost your mood, support overall health, and even improve performance and sleep quality, keeping you on track to hit those recomp goals. Next is cardio. For metabolic support, aim to add 10 to 20 minutes of moderate intensity cardio post-lift. This is going to help keep your metabolism high as a result, so you can recomp on higher calorie intake. For a full breakdown on how to approach cardio strategically, check out the full video I've done on it. Now, one of the biggest things that can derail a physique transformation is having unrealistic expectations. When it comes to your body recomposition, it's essential to set the right ones and understand the level of effort required to see proper results. Recomping doesn't give apparent feedback as fast as traditional bulking or cutting sometimes, so being patient and consistent is key as always. Significant results will take typically between 3 to 6 months or more, depending on your starting point and how well you stick to the plan. In fact, I recommend you set your first timeline for a recomp to last about 3 months, then reassess where to go from there, which may even just mean continuing recomping another 3 months if all is going well. Now, to know if you're on the right track, you have to monitor the following metrics consistently and appropriately. First is training sessions. Track your workouts to ensure you're pushing for progressive overload. Even if you're just maintaining your strength while in a slight deficit, that can indicate progress. But you should be getting stronger given that you're probably closer to a beginner, slightly untrained, so we should be seeing steady progress, if not weekly, at least monthly. Next is progress photos and measurements. Take photos every month under the same lighting and conditions ideally to see visual progress over time, because after all, that's what matters most. Combine these with tape measurements of areas like the waist and arms and thighs flexed for even more potentially useful points of reference. Daily body weight. Weigh yourself daily to get weekly averages. For fat loss, you should see a gradual downward trend. For muscle gain or maintenance, weight may hold steady or increase ever so slightly. Nutrition tracking. Log your food intake consistently to ensure you're hitting your calorie and protein targets. This is essential for staying on track with your recomp goals. You'll know you're progressing if your weight is trending in the right direction, let's say downwards in a deficit or staying roughly the same at maintenance. Your strength is increasing in the gym, your visual progress and measurements show positive changes, and you're meeting your nutrition targets consistently. By the way, my Monophysique Accelerator program includes a full tracking system to help you measure all of these key things in one place, help you set cadences to keep you on track, and it also provides training, nutrition, cardio plans, and coaching support from me to maximize your recomp results. Check the link in the description to learn more. Lastly, understanding plateaus. Hitting plateaus is normal during recomposition and any other part of the process, But when progress stalls, you got to consider making small adjustments to your nutrition, such as slight calorie increase to support muscle growth if that's your route you started with, or minor decreases to keep the deficit going. If recovery is not feeling too good, some minor volume adjustments may be in order as well. Even with the right strategy, there are common mistakes that can derail your recomposition journey. Number one is insufficient protein intake. So without enough protein, your body will struggle to even preserve muscle during a calorie deficit, let alone build new tissue. Despite the training stimulus, by the way, so protein is key, don't forget that one. Overdoing the training is next. More isn't always better. Training too often without proper recovery leads to fatigue and can actually sabotage your progress. Aim for high intensity but balanced sessions that allow you to recover fully. It might seem tempting to just pack on the volume and force faster growth, but muscle growth, even at a stage like what you are in right now, is still relatively a slow process. 3 to 5 sessions a week focusing on the keys outlined above are enough. Tons of drop sets, supersets, burnout sets, and so on are just adding fatigue that you have to recover from, not exactly building more muscle way faster. Next is falling for fat-burning workouts. A common misconception is that certain workouts will magically build muscle and burn fat at the same time. But that's bullshit. It's actually just marketing. Muscle gain and fat loss come from the combined effect of a well-structured program. Training, nutrition, recovery, like we've outlined in this video. Circuit or HIIT-style training with weights is just glorified cardio, not a muscle building or recomp strategy. Next is neglecting nutrition quality. It's not just about hitting macros, it's about getting those macros from nutrient-dense sources. Whole foods provide vitamins and minerals that are essential to support performance, health, satiety, and recovery. Next is not tracking progress properly. So if you're not consistently tracking your food intake, workouts, and body changes, you're flying blind. Regular progress tracking lets you make informed adjustments and understand when to make them to keep moving forward. Building muscle while losing fat isn't easy, but it is possible. Here are my final tips to making sure that you make this work. Number one is consistency is key. Real progress doesn't come from a few days or even a few weeks of effort. It's the months and even years of disciplined training, nutrition, and recovery that leads to these noticeable changes. True consistency means showing up on the days when motivation is low, hitting your targets, and following your program with the best precision you can for that day. This process does work, but be prepared. The effort required is often more than people realize. You're not going to build a superhero physique after 3 months. This is a journey that rewards commitment, patience, and consistency over the long haul. And stay patient. The process may feel slow, but trust that every bit of hard work is paying off. Small, consistent improvements build on each other, and over time, they're going to lead to some crazy results. Stick with it and you'll reach a new level of conditioning and muscle most people only ever talk about. So now you have the blueprint for body recomposition. Apply these strategies, stay consistent, and watch your body transform over time. For those of you who put this into action and stay committed, you're on the path to change that most people don't believe is possible, and I guarantee you'll love who you become along the way almost as much as who you see in the mirror. And for those of you who do, I'll see you at the top.